All right. If you are joining our live broadcast, we're waiting for Ben to jump on, and then we'll begin. I'll be telling my very painful and educating story of how I let myself get scammed, get hacked within Web3, NFTs, crypto, blockchain, play to earn gaming, all the Web3 stuff. There's one basic rule you never ever break, and that's you don't give away your seed phrase no matter what. And I did that, and ultimately that's how I got hacked. Ultimately, all of this is very, very secure as long as you don't break that one rule. And there's a couple other smaller rules too, but that is the main rule you don't break. Don't give away your seed phrase for your digital wallet. And I knew it. I've heard it almost every day for 6 months, and yet I still did it. And I've got it documented. I took screenshots. I actually took a recording of a 20-minute conversation I had with my scammer afterwards. And I've got that on screen record. We're going to unfold all of that. So you're going to get to see how all of that went down. Ben, hello.
What's up?
Hey, we're live. Good thing you got your t-shirt on.
That is a good thing.
Sorry, we were running behind technical issues. Can you imagine that?
I can. That's all right. What do we got going on?
So we are live right now, and I was just buying us some time until you decided to show up for the show. And
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm always running behind.
Well, the truth is I'm always running behind. But anyways, I was just kind of filling in on, for any of those that have not heard the bits of what I let happen to myself. I take full responsibility, although I think we're going to see it. This was such a painful event. I just now, over the last couple of days, went back and really reviewed the stuff that I recorded. I literally couldn't really even look at it until just recently, because the event was painful.
Yeah, I'm excited because I've heard the story, but I haven't seen all the good stuff yet. So I'm excited.
Let me just say, if you can feel a little bit better about what happened to me, if I could feel a little bit better, I feel a little bit better because this guy, I feel like he worked me really, really well. But without further ado, if you got any questions, anything before we go into this, otherwise let's just jump into this. We're live and we don't want to leave people just riding along.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So be sure to, if you got questions or want to interrupt, Ben, help me tell the story, because I told you secondhand the next day. So,
all right.
So we're going to start.
Real quick, do we leave out the part where you cried for like 2 days, or?
I'm an open book, Ben. Put it all out there. My wife doesn't watch this anyway, so she won't think any less of me.
All right.
Other than I lost thousands of dollars of our family's money, but
fortune.
So let's start from the beginning, and I've got a lot of information here, but it started with me attending the Luvium Zero land sale, and I was going to bring up just kind of brief picture of what that looked like, but didn't quite get to that. So we're going to skip that. But so June 2nd, Luvium Zero rated the biggest game to come out this year. Hasn't come out yet, but a AAA game. It's supposed to revolutionize play to earn gaming. At least that's what the word is, and that's what I think is going to happen. So obviously we've covered it in full episode early on, even did a follow-up with it. But as the sale was coming up on June 2nd, I spent a good amount of time, probably about 10 days prior to, like, really trying to figure out what I was going to buy and how I was going to go about this. So I'm fully engaged is what I'm trying to tell you, right? 72-hour sale. Basically, I'm following all the experts on YouTube leading up to it. How's this going to go down? When should I buy? How much do I think? I'm messaging them on YouTube. I'm like, hey, this is all I've got to spend. Do you think I can get away with a tier 2 level property? It starts with tier 1 being the lowest, goes to tier 4 is the highest, actually tier 5, but that's not even an option. And so I'm strategizing 10 days leading up to this deal. I'm fully engaged. Basically, from listening to the experts, I decide, okay, the best thing to do about this is get up about 18 hours into the auction, which is like 3 a.m, and try and snatch my land. I'd been watching the auction prior to that, kind of getting an idea of how this was going to go down. But I'm going to get up at 3 a.m. So I do it. And the reason I'm doing that is because most of the US is asleep at that time, which is where most of your NFT buyers are, right? Get up at 3 a.m. We go live, I think around 5, something like that. I actually purchase a tier 2 land, which I did not think I was going to be able to get bought. And it's one that I think is a pretty good piece of land. Matter of fact, I take a picture, send it over to one of the Alluvium YouTube guys and ask them, hey, how would you rate this land? Because there's still a lot of confusion of how good these lands could be. Well, anyway, so he messages back hours later and he's like, dude, this looks like a really good piece. And I respond days later when I finally get the goal to tell him, well, yeah, I owned it for a few hours and then I let it get stolen. Anyways, reason I'm telling all this or setting the stage is I'm tired by later that afternoon, but I still actually had a little bit of ETH left over that I didn't think I was going to have. And I had plenty to buy a tier 1, another piece of property. So I was tired. I was FOMOing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I'm watching the auction. I'm looking to try and grab another piece. The little voice in my head is telling me, dude, you're tired. Step away. There's 2 more days of this auction. You'll have I'm ignoring it all. Well, during this process, some of these experts that I'm listening to, they kept saying, hey, don't buy. If you're buying with ETH, that's a rookie move, which is what I bought with. They're saying buy with SILV2, which is the token for Alluvium. You get more buying power with that. So after hearing that over and over and over again, after I bought the first piece, I decide, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can convert this over. Shouldn't be too hard, and buy an SILV2, save myself a little money. So I start looking for the process of converting ETH to this token. And I can't, I'm tired. I can't quite figure it out. So I go into the Discord, which everybody knows is one of the best places to gain information. I'd spent a lot of time in the Alluvium Discord leading up to this. But you have to be very careful because of scammers. So I go in, I ask I'm asking, how do you convert from ETH to SILV2? And this guy up here, you can see the little frog, and he's got his name here, and it says, has mod at the end. Anyways, he comes in immediately and starts answering my questions. And I only have one screenshot here, but we had, from what I can recall, is probably a 10, 15, 20-minute conversation on Discord where basically he's kind of walking me through the steps in the main channel. You can see other people here. Here he is again, and he's walking me through the steps, and he's helping me solve a problem. I'm going to pause it right here. There's going to be a ton of signs along the way that I should have picked up on, and some of them I did, and I ignored it. That was the FOMO and tired. One of the first signs is he's actually an addition. He's also part of the DLS, Digital Landowner Society here. That's not a flag, but that's a little bit odd that he's part of this group because it's a smaller group and the Alluvium is much bigger. Anyways, I didn't pick up on that until just going through. So anyways, the point of this is this guy who appears to be a mod, which a mod is somebody that is a volunteer within these Discord or these programs to help people like me who are idiots when it comes to Web3 because I'm still learning. And so he's helping me solve this problem, right? And we're going probably 10, 15 minutes worth into this problem. And then all of a sudden, he sends me a direct message. Now, direct messages are one of the things that you constantly are warned about. Do not communicate with people on direct message. Well, be very, very careful with direct messages because I was communicating with people via direct messages for different stuff, but you have to be deadly careful with direct messages. So anyways, we communicate for a while in Discord. See if I can move this along here a little bit. And he's helping me solve this problem of converting ETH to SILV. It's going really well. I'm taking step by step. Basically, he's helping me get it done. And as I went back through this, there was some warning signs that I highlighted, start to pick up on. And so one of them, so what he tells me is to use this CeeLo app. So basically I convert my ETH to SILV2. That's true. I do that through a thing called Uniswap, which I'd used before. But the SILV2 is not showing up in my wallet like other tokens have in the past when I've done this. And so he tells me, hey, they're there. I checked your transaction hash number, which I provided to him in one of these previous screens. He says, you need to download the CeeLo app, and that will show your SILV and communicate that with the Illuvium website so that I could actually purchase the land. So he's telling me they're there. I just can't see them in my wallet. Immediately, I'm kind of questioning, why, a little flag goes up around this point. When they send you a link or whatever, little flag goes up. And after the fact, there were other little hints in here that I could have picked up. Anyways, I did the same thing I've done before when I almost got hacked back in February. I Google CeeLo. And when I Google CeeLo, it is a true application that actually is tied to or is usable with MetaMask. And so I go through this process of adding CeeLo to my MetaMask, which it's very similar to like when you add Polygon into the MetaMask also. No big deal there. I add CeeLo to MetaMask, and I come back and I tell her, and then I try to finish the process. It looks like it's going to work, doesn't work. I come back to him and I tell him, hey, I added it to my wallet, didn't work. And he says, no, that doesn't work. You can see he's talking about it here. It is not the network. You need to add CeeLo, or you need to add MetaMask to CeeLo. So I added CeeLo to MetaMask. He's saying, no, you need to do the opposite, basically. Add MetaMask to CeeLo, and you need to use this link. Now, this is the second time he's given me this link. The first time I Googled it because I thought, I'm not clicking on any links. So he sends it to me. So by this point, I'm starting to get tired, but I've already converted the money over there. Like I already took that step. So I'm basically halfway committed at this point. Now it's fine. I could have walked away. It wasn't like that money was going to go anyway, but I've already got the money there. So sends me the link again. And so basically I start going through the process. Now, I don't know if I mentioned, this is in the direct messages now. So I'm direct messaging with him. I have for a little bit here, and you can see it's like 4:32 in the afternoon. So I say, he says something about, oh, you can see I'm getting frustrated here. I said, this shit's confusing. Like I can tell I'm getting tired, obviously. And he's just kind of moving me along, and I'm telling him, hey, it says to put in my seed phrase. And I ask him about, I mentioned something about I almost got hacked for this before. I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that. And he's like, well, Google CeeLo. You'll see it's a legitimate application. So I go ahead, and I think I Googled it by that point. So I might have looked again. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But he's basically, he's giving me the right answers. He's like, you don't believe, if you're scared, go ahead and Google it. And I'm asking him, how do I know the extension is good? I almost got hacked before, and he's telling me, Google it. Here's CeeLo, Google it. So I go through the process of Googling it. It doesn't work. I come back to him like, hey, this isn't working. And he just basically calmly helps me work through it, right? And this is where I made the mistake. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm FOMOing. I'm even seeing some red flags. He's asking for the seed phrase. I even mentioned I almost got hacked from this before, and he works me through all that. Long story short, I go ahead and give my seed phrase on this link that he sends me, and then I'm saying, hey, I don't see the tokens yet, and he's like, okay, he basically, looking back now, he was buying time. And so probably 10 or 15 minutes go by, and at one point I happen to pull up my wallet and look, and I notice the amount of ETH that I had in my wallet before is way less, and immediately panic sets in. You know, I'm pretty sure I even hit my desk because I know what is happening now, right? So and let me step quick back. The reason I looked at my wallet is he stopped communicating with me. All of a sudden, you can't see it here, but this last message I put here, he disconnects from me, and it tells me it disconnects, and I'm like,
gotcha.
Why do you disconnect?
After the 505 message, when you said when I click on that, and then he comes back 2 hours later and says hi.
So this is where I'm gonna get to that too. This guy, I don't know. It seems like he knew what he was doing, but it's probably not that hard to fool me, not as hard as I think. Anyway, so he disconnects. He disconnects after this 505. I message him at 505. It immediately gives me a message that says he's disconnected. And I'm like, well, why did he disconnect? And I go check my wallet, and that's when I realized my ETH had dropped way down. I have way less. So I'm like, shit. So immediately I'm checking things, and I can start to see that he started to take some of my NFTs. And so I'm in full panic mode because I've been told if they get your seed phrase, there's nothing you can do other than trying to transfer your stuff out of your wallet as soon as possible. So I go into straight panic mode, and basically between 505 here and 720, give or take, and even after that, I'm drained. I'm basically just trying. I'm messaging people on Discord. I'm like, shit, I've been hacked. What can I do? I'm trying to take, anything I can do. And one guy reminds me, hey, send your shit out of your wallet as quick as you can. So I'm like, so I get a hold of I had another wallet, which here's another mistake. I had another wallet that I was going to set up to help protect, and I never got around to it. And so I couldn't remember the information. I'm in a panic. I get a hold of my son, Caleb. I'm like, send me your wallet address now. So he sends it, and I tell him, hey, I don't have time to talk. I've got hacked. Send me your wallet address. So he sends it to me, and I immediately take what ETH is in that wallet that now this guy has actually is putting into my wallet, because he used all my ETH to transfer my shit out, ran out of ETH, and now he's depositing small amounts of his own ETH so that he can continue to steal the rest of my crap. And so I grabbed
for gas fees. Is that what he's doing? Yes. So he's depositing money into your account because he needs more gas fees to pull out all your NFTs. That's what I'm hearing.
That is correct. And as painful as that sounds, it magnify that times 100 times. It is degrading to watch somebody stealing your shit and having to deposit ETH in there to pay for gas fees to get it out. So anyways, there's
so poor. You were so ETH poor that he had to actually put money into your wallet so he could pull out the stuff that you had in there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's exactly right. So there's around $12 of ETH in there. So I grab it and send it to Caleb's wallet. So I drain my wallet of any ETH, hopefully keeping him from being able to continue to do that. I can't remember around what time frame that was, but essentially it kind of stops him at that point. He ends up coming back, and that may have been the second attempt not even attempt. He was successful. He ended up coming back. I can't remember if it was after that or before, but he comes back and adds more ETH, and then taps into some staking that I have going on in other areas. So for those that are not familiar with this, that are watching, staking is when you take some of your crypto or your assets, your tokens, and you attach them to a separate area, a website. So it's outside of my wallet, and that staking will pay you an additional tokens. It's completely separate from my wallet, but there's a tie in there. So he puts more ETH in and then goes after my staking stuff in one of my other projects. He manages to steal all of that too. Not a lot of value there, but I had worked hard to collect all of this stuff, And so this all goes down, right? Then around 7:20, he pops back in and says, hi. And I'm monitoring this. And so I respond right back, what? You know, I'm obviously pissed and wondering what the hell is this guy's deal. And so that's he doesn't respond, right? Well, so I'm like, this, whatever. So then I go back to try and fix my problems. I'm communicating in Discord, whatever else. Well, 7 minutes later at 7:27, this guy pops up in a direct message. Now, to those of you watching this, and Ben also, this all I'm sure is seeming painfully obvious. And let me tell you, it clearly was. How I missed these signs clearly was because I was tired and I was FOMOing, fear of missing out, and I was emotionally distracted. Okay. I'm trying to defend myself here, but it is pathetic. So this guy, 7:27, this guy pops up, right? And let me remind you, I'm in the Discord, other Discord, scrambling for help, trying to get somebody to help me, right? You know, or trying to get people to give me something to help. And they are helping me. They're doing a very good job of telling me what I can do, which is almost minimal. So here's this guy, 7:27. I start having a conversation. Basically, he asked, did you give away your seed phrase? And I say, yep, like an idiot. He tells me he's like, did you record the, you know, the scamming, basically the dialogue? And I said, yes, I did. And he says, upload it. So I upload it. And then he says, basically he says, kindly provide the transaction hash as to block the transaction, and funds will automatically be reflected right back into your account. Now, looking back, this should have been a little bit of a red flag, because I know that mostly there's no chance of me getting my shit back. But here I am, I'm emotionally scrambling. I've been up for 18 hours now or more. I'm obviously worn out and tired, but he's like, give me the hash number. So I give him the hash number, and to my understanding, still to this day, hash numbers are public record. So it's not like I gave him anything that he can use to hack my wallet, but I think I did give him something that he can now track what's going on, because he asked for the hash number the first time he hacked me. Now this guy's asking for it also, but it's public information. So I go ahead and provide it because I'm not thinking anything of it. And still to this day, I don't know that was a big mistake, but had I known it was a hacker, I wouldn't have given it. So I had to take a bunch of screenshots here because a lot of the messages, as you can see, were deleted after the fact. So I had to open them up one by one. So this guy begins to help me, right? So he's like, provide your ETH wallet address you have created through this MetaMask wallet, a second MetaMask wallet. And I don't know what that is. I use Mask him for, so I can't really do it. So I'm having a conversation with him. And then he begins to ask, do you have another wallet set up? And here it is. You just create. So he's like, and I tell him yes. And he's like, you just created the wallet? And I begin to tell him, no, I've had it for, looks like the screen froze there. I told him I've had it for a while. And he asked me, have you been using it for any other transactions? That, I think, looking back, I think I might have had just a little red light go off there, but not enough to stop me or change my, my panic. But he asked me if I had any other transactions. Looking back, there's no real reason for them to ask that I can think of. Looking back, he was trying to see, hey, is this a secondary wallet that this guy has that I can now hack into also? So at that point, I tell him, not that I can recall. So have you had any other transactions in the secondary wallet? Not that I can recall, because I had set it up as a secondary and hadn't used it. I screwed up there. And then I say, I can use my son's for now. It's ready. And I can only imagine on the other end of this deal, this guy is cheesing ear to ear at this point. So he immediately sends me some instructions with a link. And it was at that point, I was like, a link, and the light went off in my head. So I immediately go and look at his profile, which I'll show again. And immediately I can tell this profile is not right. It's set up to look like a mod, an honest person, a knowledgeable person, but it is not right. So it's at this point I figured out, or I'm pretty strongly, and I try to call the phone number there. Now I've never done that before, so I don't know if these typically work, but there is an option to call. Obviously, I get no answer when I call. So
hey, why are you stealing all my money?
So then I say, how can I trust this link? And he responds something back, about I'm the designated mod. It's perfectly safe or whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, this is a direct message, a DM. So I'm starting to wise up here. I'm like, what the? So then he sends me this screenshot of this. I knew immediately, without a doubt, this confirmed for sure this guy was another hacker or the same guy trying to see if I had a backup wallet that he could access. He sends me this screen, and basically I knew because he says, here's the status of the activation withdrawal processing fixing on your account. Now, the English is not great on it, but that's pretty typical because you're dealing with people all over the world. So English is the language that pretty much everybody uses in these Discords. At least now there's other options to choose languages, but so it's not uncommon for the English to be a little bit broken up. So that wasn't a big deal. What got my attention is the fact that I knew I hadn't given him really any information that he could process a transaction to help me get my money back. And right. So I knew the jig was up, and that's when I say, you almost had me. And then he responds with something like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. And I say, or maybe he responds, have you completed it? And I come back and I say, with you, or it's something about, have you finished? And I said, with you. And,
find another fool.
Right. Find another. Yeah. So I'm done with you. Find another fool. Right. Okay. So now I'm bewithered. I got hacked. The guy is stealing my shit over hours over hours. He's putting money back, ETH, into my wallet to steal more of my stuff. And now I almost get hacked again. And that's when I really stepped back and I was like, holy shit, I have got to take a breather here, right?
I got to get away from the computer.
And it was around this time that my wife had messaged me. This is probably 9:30, around 10 o'clock or whatever. My wife messages me. And she says, what are you up to or whatever? Why don't you come out and hang out? And so I'm like, yeah. And also, let me say, I still had some NFTs. All my Next Earth NFTs are actually still in my wallet, and they're under the Polygon section. And so he hasn't touched anything in Polygon. I actually had 2 projects in there, mostly NFTs from Next Earth. But my virtual land from Next Earth. He had already stole all my NXTT tokens, 450,000 of them roughly, which is value-wise with what I paid was, I think, $1,200 or something. Anyways, it took me a while to collect that, obviously. I know, straight to your heart there. So anyway, my point is I still had virtual land. I had NFTs in the Polygon section of my wallet. My wife's just messaging me. I've been at this for way too long. I'm exhausted. And basically I come to the decision, you know what? I'm done with this for this night. I'm going to hang out with my wife, try and get away from this, try not to cry in front of everybody while I'm there. And if I come back in the morning and they're gone, they're gone. It is what it is. I can only do so much. I can't monitor my wallet and move ETH and Matic out of the wallet every time he deposits it. So I basically am like, I'm out. So I go out there. I come back the next morning, and so I come back the next morning, and immediately I check my wallet, and it's my NFTs, my Next Earth NFTs virtual land is all still there, along with another project I have, which is I had a couple NFTs there, not worth a whole lot. Well, so I'm communicating with, at this point, I'm communicating with some guys from another project, the Digital Landowner Society. And actually I'm communicating with different groups, also on Next Earth and whatever else. But the guys at the Digital Landowner Society, dude, they came in and immediately were like, hey, you need to start transferring stuff out. I'm going to send you money so that you can do that. So they're sending me Matic to transfer my stuff out. They're like, hey, do this. They're like totally helping me out big time. And that gave me some hope, right? At this point, I'm ready to walk from everything, right? You know, because so these guys are helping me out, and it's awesome. And even one of the guys pipes in and he's like, man, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. When you get settled in your new wallet, let me know. I'll send you a new NFT. That way you can remain part of our inner group. So that lifts my spirits. Anyways, so I'm communicating with these guys. We're making a plan for them to deposit Matic into my wallet so that I can start transferring my Next Earth land. I'm glad you're enjoying this.
Man, it's you couldn't have planned this. If you were going to show somebody exactly what not to do, yes, this is exactly what you would do. So it's just interesting hearing you do it.
No, it's all good. And this isn't even the fun part yet. We haven't even got into the 20-minute conversation, but it's coming
to the
up.
Actual, talking to them.
Yeah. So now that was Friday. It's now Saturday morning. I'm communicating with the Digital Landowner Society. I'm also communicating with Next Earth, but it's the DLS Society guys that are helping me out, willing to transfer me money to get my shit back, what I can salvage. And at the same time, I'm going into the Illuvium Discord and I'm warning people, because here is this guy right here. He's still in there working this sale because it's a 72-hour auction. And so I'm going in there and you can see I'm yelling at the top of my lung, typing at the top of my lungs, warning, there's a scammer in this channel. You know, and I'm telling him, he got me yesterday. He's after you guys. And, you know, this guy's like, what happened? What's his name? Report the scammer. Here he is right here. Now, let me step back. I'm 99% sure this is the guy, but what these guys do is they actually duplicate actual mods so that, you know, it looks like you're talking to that person. I'm pretty sure this is scammer, but I'm pretty sure this is him. And he says, please screenshot your messages with the person and post in the report scammers section. Very helpful, right? So I continue. So I go into the report scammers deal, and I'm telling people what just happened. You know, I'm warning people. Then I'm going back to the general channel and I'm letting people know, hey, he's working right here. He's scamming. And so as I'm in the scam channel, or this might have been general, I don't remember, but this guy's like, hey, this Cooper IMX guy just tried to get me, you know, some dodgy, you know, using the CeeLo address. And so I'm like, shit, that's got to be the same guy. He tried to get me yesterday. And so, you know, he's obviously clearly still at work, right? So I'm going to continue to try and warn people, because my shit's gone, at least at this point, until I can try and salvage a few of the Polygon or the Next Earth NFTs. And so then this guy screenshots this Cooper IMX guy, and he's saying, hey, this guy just tried to get me with this CeeLo address, and I didn't let him. And, you know, and of course I'm like, I did. And so feeling sorry for myself, but trying to do my part to warn other people and making a bunch of noise. And then, so let me pause for a second. So I'm making a bunch of noise in the Discord. At the same time, I'm talking to the DLS guys in the Discord, and we're making a plan to get my Next Earth land back. They're like, okay, what's going to happen is I'm going to deposit Matic in your wallet. And once I do that, you know, you need to be watching and then start transferring your stuff out to your son's wallet, or, you know, as soon as possible. Right. So So he says, go. And we go, and I get a total of 10 properties out, right? And then all of a sudden, the Matic gets sucked out of my wallet, just like ETH the day before. And my wallet but I don't notice it gets sucked out. I just notice all of a sudden it's empty. And I hadn't been monitoring it because I was sending properties quick as I send them. Then I get a message that says you're out of ETH or out of Matic, basically. So I messaged the DLS guys. I'm like, hey, I'm out of Matic. Can you send me more? They're like, yep, on the way. They send me more. I go to start sending property. I don't even get one out, and the Matic's gone. And I'm like, shit, it's gone again. And they're like, oh man, the hacker woke up. He's seen what you're doing. He's still in the Matic. And I'm like, what do we do? And they're like, there's not a lot we can do at this moment, but we can try and make an attempt here after some time. Well, then all of a sudden, a message pops up in the Discord from that IMX Cooper guy. And it happens so fast, but basically it says, haha, good Ryan, you thought you were going to get your shit back. Not going to happen or something. And I'm like, so like it pops up and I'm like, holy, what the, like mind blown. Then all of a sudden the message is gone. And one of the DLS guys messages and he's like, hey, I just kicked that guy out of the Discord. Does anybody know who that was? And I said, I think that was the hacker, but it was a different profile picture. And they come in and they're like, and these guys at DLS are like, they're Web3 tech guys. They've been building businesses, like they understand this stuff. And even they're like, I've never seen that happen before. What the hell is this guy up to?
He says that's personal. It seems personal. It seems like
really exactly. Like this guy is after me. So then the DLS guys are like, hey, let's move over to the mod channel. He can't follow us in there. So we move over to the mod channel. And basically, we discuss. They're like, hey, there's not much we can do right now. He's watching the wallet. Let's make let's hope that this, and he says, I don't think he's interested in those Polygon NFTs, your virtual land, next Earth stuff. He's like, let's just get together in a couple days and we'll make an attempt. I'll send you some Matic and we'll try to get all your stuff back in a couple days. And I'm like, okay. And I say something. So he says something, about he looks like he's not interested. And I make the comment, or he's holding them for ransom. And they're like, yeah, that might be what he's doing. So we basically decide we're going to pick this up in a few days. And of course, I'm telling these guys, thank you so much for all you're doing and, bailing me out and all these things. I don't remember the time window, but it was really pretty quick from there that, I'm wrapping things up. But then all of a sudden I get a direct message. And it's from this IMX Cooper guy. Hold on a second. Let me figure out what's going on here. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Okay. So it's from this.
So this is like getting carjacked, robbed on the street, and then the next guy he shows up to your house and you sit down and you have a conversation with him.
Yes.
So we got going on.
Yeah, dude, I'm so frazzled, and I'm just a mess. I've got thousands of dollars worth of NFTs and crypto that's been stolen from me. That took me months and months and months of investigation, deciding what to buy. Like you know how much time we put into these things, right?
I do.
And it's gone. I'm completely disappointed in myself that I let it happen. I'm also very highly disappointed that I let somebody take money out of my family's pockets. My wife is totally, she's been my biggest supporter my whole life. Even when I screw up, she slaps me in the face and she's like, you're an idiot. Don't do that shit again. And here I just, so this whole metaverse crypto, she's just shaking her head. You can relate to this of, I don't know what you're doing, but you usually, I don't know what you're doing. You go about doing weird things, but you seem to be successful on, at least a good chunk of the time. So I'm going to trust you, but I let this guy hack me and steal money from my family. So I'm distraught. Right. So 6:43 a.m. this guy's time, which I think is like, I want to say it was around 10:30 a.m. my time. Maybe it was a little later than it. No, actually, I take that back. It was in the afternoon now. So wherever this guy is at, he's basically about 6 hours behind me. Maybe he's in Hawaii, living the life off of people's
living the good life.
I don't know. But you can see here, this is the night before. Here's the last message I send him right before it gets disconnected. Here he is at 7:20 saying hi. And my what? We just discussed this. So now he reconnects with me, and it's early afternoon, and he says, "Hey, what is wrong? Why still monitoring me?" And I'm like, "What? Oh, okay. I just noticed this." So he sends that to me early in the morning. I didn't notice that. Then around this time, and it's afternoon for me, then he messages me this. Okay, so I didn't even notice this. Obviously, that morning as I'm working on stuff and making noise in the Discord. So then apparently I'm making enough noise. He messages me again. Guy, rest. What's this all about? Just fucking rest. And so obviously I'm like, I can't believe this guy. But right away, my thought is, he's got me beat. There's nothing I can do at this point. So if he's going to talk, yeah, if he's going to talk, I'm going to let him talk. Maybe he'll give me something I can use. So I'm having to restrain myself here and play along. And so as you can see, I go, hey, there he is. Get any others yet? And so now starts this conversation that we're going to have. And so basically I'm kind of boosting his ego a little bit. And he's just telling me, hey, I get people like you all the time. This is how it works. This is what's going to happen. And so let's let this conversation play. So basically he's telling me I've got about 50 people to this point. And obviously I'm emotionally distraught. So I start typing messages, and you're going to see me backtrack quite a bit on here on what I'm going to say. Okay. Yeah. And basically all he's telling me is I've been used, I do this all the time. I got you, but it's not that big of a deal. I get people all the time, and I'll continue to get people. And I'm just blown away that he actually gets other idiots like me to give away their seed phrase. So I ask him, are you using reverse psychology? Because you obviously go in here and help all these people and then freaking steal from them.
Yeah.
Let's see what he has to say. Yeah. The way you have, others have, and more will.
Oh, wow. So to continue with my analogy, this is now you're talking to the carjacker who's hiding in the alley. And you're saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's telling you how he does it. And he's like, go away. Yeah. I'm getting ready to get somebody else.
Yeah. He's saying, and he's telling me, you can't take us out of the system. We all make up the system. He's like, there's hackers all over. And I'm typing, I'm sick to my stomach, but I guess you earned it. I guess, I'm working his ego a little bit here. And then he says, the system needs us for checkmates. Typical egotistical crook, right?
That's genius. He's balancing out the good and evil.
Yeah, and then he says, we need the system for checkups. I don't know what he's saying there, but I say, I'm glad I'm learning, and he says, I'm glad you are. So now he's asking about the next Earth land, because there's been a pause. So obviously he saw me, I was trying to get my land back. I got 10 pieces, and then we gave up, and now he's asking, why are you over it? And of course I ask him, what do you mean, am I over it? And he says, that shit is worth dust. So now he's going to start really insulting me on my stuff. See, I was in your Discord and I was reading all your conversations. So when he asked me about the Nexo land, Next Earth land, I got the feeling he's wanting to set up a deal. Yeah, so he's talking about the conversation with the DLS guys. And I had mentioned that I told the DLS guys, I said, you don't need to give me any crypto. I've got some, I can move it over. And they're like, that'll take too long. So now he sees, oh, you got crypto in Coinbase. So as he's insulting my stuff, then I thought, well, you're in this business. You know what's good. So I asked him, hey, what's good? What's undervalued?
What'd you think of my Illuvium land?
That comes up too. So I'm going to work it, I'm going to work him a little bit. I'm like, of course I've still got crypto. I'm pretty calm at this point.
I don't know how you could be.
I just understood that he had won. My chance to beat him was prior to giving him my seed phrase.
Yeah, but if somebody stole my car and then he won and there was no way I could get it back, I wouldn't sit there and stroke his ego and talk to him.
That's what's so interesting and painful about Web3 is normally when you get your shit stolen, you probably never see that guy again. In the movies, they do those creepy things where it's like, then they track the person. But that stuff doesn't happen in real life. In Web3, you literally watch him steal your stuff and there's almost nothing you can do. And now he gets to badger me for it.
All your NFTs are worthless.
Yeah, so now he's telling me you don't own any BAYCs.
You should have said, well, not in this wallet. This is my throwdown wallet.
Yeah, if I'd been thinking maybe, but.
Well, I think we've narrowed down how much thinking you did over this 48 hours.
I don't generally do that much thinking day to day anyways, and I was very limited then. Yeah, so obviously he's dissing the stuff that I own. All I own is shitty Polygon shit. And I tell him I worked hard for months to get that.
We should have asked him if he wanted to come on the show and give us his ideas of what NFTs are worth being stolen.
I almost did. It occurred to me to ask him to come on our show, and then I thought, then I was like, what am I thinking or whatever? And so now I'm feeling a little better.
God dang. You're saying that you worked hard for months to buy that stuff, and he said, I worked hard on you too yesterday. It wasn't easy to pull it off, but here we are. So yeah, you worked hard, he worked hard.
I'm feeling a little bit better about myself, though. It's like he's telling me, hey, I had to work you hard. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I wasn't an easy target, or he had to work me at least.
I think you're taking that wrong. I think he's making fun of you. Like, you worked hard for months, and he says, oh, I worked hard yesterday to get all the shit that you worked months for. Not to make you feel worse, but I'm pretty sure he's just making fun of you right here.
I'm sure.
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah, I say, even though I saw the signs, I still took the bait. That's probably the worst part about it. And that probably is the worst part about it. Mm-hmm. I knew better and I still fell for it.
It's hard to get sympathy from anybody when they say, well, you didn't give away your passphrase, did you? Yes. Well, you didn't give away. Yeah, I did that too. Well, you didn't put any more money in there after. Yeah, I did that as well. Well, at least you didn't talk to him after. Yeah, I did. I talked to him for a little.
Oh, man. And I think that's why I wanted to create this video so much, is because I'm not saying I'm that smart, but I knew better than to do that. I've been told that almost daily for 6 months, and I still did it. So if I would, and that's the part I'm looking at. If I was dumb enough to do this now, what's to say I wouldn't be dumb enough to do it 3 years from now when I had acquired way more assets or whatever?
Right. That's you and I talked about that, and you're exactly right. I mean, I hate to say it and I hate to see it, but it's like better now than when you have some BAYCs and some moonbirds.
You win or you learn, and I'm trying to learn from this. So here, I all of a sudden it occurs to me, and I'm like, hey, were you the second mod, the other thief, or was that a fellow scammer? I ask him, and he says second mod, but definitely not using my main account. So he was the second scammer.
Yeah, because he probably thought, well, this guy gave it up once. Let's see if I can get him to give me the stuff for his other wallet.
Right. Well, and he's still, he's talking to me, but I just picture him with multiple computer screens and he's working, at the same time.
Yeah, he worked hard to steal all your money.
Yeah. He was probably having this conversation with somebody else while he was stealing my shit.
He's probably sitting in a room with a lot of people and they're all in on it. You know what I mean? Like it's probably like one of those hack and scam call centers that you always see the videos about.
Yep. That's at that point. This is what I started to picture. So finally, I could tell he was trying to work. I could tell he wanted me to beg or ask to get my shit back, and I wasn't going to do it. So finally, he asked me if I want a deal. This is where it kind of gets funny, at least to me.
Well, as long as you find it funny.
So that's how little he thinks of my virtual lands. He's willing to give them back to me for free if I shut my mouth in the Discord.
Now, stop telling people he's a scammer.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't trust this guy.
Yeah. Okay, you could do that. All right. And then you put more Matic in and he sucks it right back out.
Although I did, after the fact, I didn't think about this, but through OpenSea, I could make, very minimal offers on it and he could accept those offers. So we probably could have made a transaction that would have protected me, but I didn't even know it or think about it at the time. So you can see he's kind of offering it to me and he starts to kind of pull it away then. He's like, well, it doesn't matter if you make noise anyways.
Right.
So now at this point, I'm like, throw in the alluvium lot and we might have a deal. The one I had bought earlier in the day. And he laughs at that.
And he's laughing because he says that's your only one worth a damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Or is he laughing because I'm countering his offer? Like now I'm like.
Right.
So then I kind of realized, you know what? He's not going to give me the alluvium land. And the rest of my stuff is trash and I can't trust you. Then why even try and make a deal with you? Probably won't even matter. Oh, I guess I was saying, yeah, you're probably right. It doesn't matter how much noise I make in the Discord. You're still going to get people. Yeah, so he says, let me know when you're ready or meet me at the door for your Polygon private listing. I'm pretty sure he's talking about OpenSea there. I didn't know that at the time. But you can do a private listing on OpenSea and offer it to a specific individual, and I didn't know that. Joke's on him. I got my stuff back anyways, but... Somewhere, and I think it was prior to this, I had been in my office when this conversation was going on. I went upstairs to tell my wife what was happening. And her first reaction was, what are you doing? Is he going to, can he get the rest of our stuff? She's like in panic mode. And I'm like, no, he can't do it. excuse me, he can't do any more damage. So I'm asking him, how can I trust you to make the deal? And he's saying, you're going to regret this. Read on the contract signing scams. I don't know what that means. Who is it? Well, I'm busy right now. You don't recognize him?
I feel like I've seen him before. I just don't.
Oh, is it Manny?
Probably.
Hey, I'll be right
take
back.
An intermission. Okay.
Yeah.
Push pause on your video.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Intermission. If I don't get this edited out, you can go down to the timestamps below and I'll have the link to the second half of this video as soon as Ryan gets back.
I think it is, yeah. Yeah, man, thank you.
Here's Ryan's motto for his crypto wallet. Oh, you can't really see it, but it says, "Come and take it." You can hear him pissing in the background. Gonna have to edit that out.
All right, I'm back.
All right, I should have had you mute your microphone so we didn't have to listen to you pee.
Man, this is a good microphone.
Yeah, this is a great microphone. I'm gonna have to edit that out.
Well, there's no editing. We're live.
Well, no editing right now if somebody sees it, but I'll get a hold of it before they do.
So, I'm sorry, y'all. Old man bladder. So earlier I had messaged OpenSea about my stuff being stolen, and so now he's telling me that was a mistake. OpenSea will block both of us, and you will not recover them. And of course, I'm thinking I wasn't getting them back anyway. You stole them. Like, now you're mad at me because I'm going to keep you from reselling them?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why they would block you.
So then I'm telling him, basically I tell him, well, then I guess I made the right move. You're telling me something, you're giving me something worthwhile now. That was the right thing to do. And he's right. OpenSea is way backed up with stuff, but multiple days later, probably close to a week later, they did flag all of those. So they are, I tried to pull up that wallet again that he had his in. And because I took some screenshots of that again after he stole my stuff, transferred it out of my wallet through OpenSea. I could see where he transferred them to, and I was able to look at the wallet where he had all of my NFTs just sitting there hanging out for me to take a look at, along with other ones he had stolen. And I'm guessing that was his shit wallet, is my guess. So basically, at this point, he's just educating me on how OpenSea works. But he doesn't care. He's already been making fun of my stuff. Which it's interesting because he's making fun of my things. He's making fun of them because as a thief, his goal is to take them and resell them right away and take what money he can get. A lot of the stuff I bought for utility at a very good price. I'm buying for the long game. He's stealing for the short game. So for him, they're not worth, a lot of those aren't worth anything because they're projects that aren't even out yet or that are still building or whatever else. To me, they're worth a lot for future value, especially. So basically, at this point, he's told me my NFTs are gone and whatever. And so, well, if it's too late, then I guess it's time to make some noise, I tell him. Yeah, if they were good NFTs, I would have traded them immediately.
Which that makes sense. I mean, if you can get a hold of a $100,000, or a multiple $100,000 Bored Ape Yacht Club, if he sells it for half price at $200,000, it's still worth his one day of hard work.
Yeah. They sell it under value, obviously, and it's gone before anything can be done. And with OpenSea being days behind, there's nothing you can do. So, of course, I'm re-inquiring about my alluvium lot. Yeah. So what's the takeaway? Be aware of how you're feeling when you're making transactions. Tired, FOMO. Are you drunk buying? Are you high? What is going on at the time? Are you emotionally not in the right state of mind? He's asking me if it's tier 2, which I don't know why he asked that, but that's what it is.
Yeah, it sounds like when you go to the casino and you start losing money, and it's like you need to take yourself off the table and get out of the casino. Don't calm down by going and sitting on the slot machines.
Right.
Get out of the casino.
Right. So he offers me a deal on the alluvium land for 1 ETH. I paid 1.28 for it, 1.28 ETH. He says he'll sell it to me for 1 ETH. Again, I'm immediately thinking, how can I trust you? Like, how do I know you're not just going to take my 1 ETH? So I basically just tell him, well, it's tempting, but I'll just go on the secondary market and pick it up after the set dip. Because as a lot of projects, when they go to sale, at the time they sell, people FOMO in, drive up the price, and then afterwards they come down quite a bit. Now, Illuvium did such an amazing job with their auction. I've gone on there and looked because I am planning to go ahead and buy another property because I do believe in the project fully. And instead of recouping my money in 1 to 2 years, obviously it's going to be closer to 2 to 3 or something like that. So anyways, I told him, keep it. I'll buy a new alluvium land on the secondary market. And then I'm just thanking him for teaching me a lesson while I only own shit. You got scams, and I need to make some noise.
Some noise.
Nice. Yeah. He ends up sending me a couple happy or laughy faces here. And that's pretty much the end of our conversation. So I immediately deliver on what I promised, go right into the Discord, start making noise. And these are the responses I get. Stop crying, report the scammer. It's more useful. And this guy, nice guy, he says, you're not an idiot. This happens all the time. These guys are basically, full time. They know what they're doing, and they look for signs of FOMO and grab on. I took a screenshot of days later when I went back. I still had the window open from when I Googled. Not that it matters too much, but I'd forgotten about this. I went back and the screen was the tab was still open, and you can see it here. CeeLo, it provides a secure means to connect to blockchain based on application. So to a guy that doesn't know what's going on, like there was some, when I Googled it the first time around, I was like, okay, this is a legitimate deal. Again, you shouldn't press on links, but in the past, when somebody sent me a link and then I go and Google for that, that what they're saying it is, you find out real quick it's a completely made up deal. This guy was a little bit smarter than that. He was making up a link based off a real protocol, and that's how he got me. I had to participate like an idiot, but that's how he got me. It took days. I was sick to my stomach for days. Here's some of the DLS guys helping me out here.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks into this now, right? It's been 2 weeks, a little over.
Well, I guess so, yeah, because today is the 21st and it happened on the 2nd. So yeah, over 2 weeks. And it's pretty much, it's out of my system now. Matter of fact, it actually gave me some pause to detach because I'd been spending so much time researching on my own investments for our channel, all that stuff. And it was really unhealthy, the amount of time I was putting into it. But when I see opportunities like this, I try to move as hard and as fast as I can to get a base level of knowledge. And I really, for the most part, had done that. And at this point, I was just, this is what I was the most excited about. So I was just fully engaged, and I really needed to detach clearly. And this forced me to do that. And so since then I hadn't done a whole lot. So several days after this, I think it was that happened. So that the hack or scam happened on Friday. That conversation with the hacker happened on Saturday. I think it was Wednesday or maybe Thursday. I had set everything up to make another attempt to get my Next Earth land back. Done a bunch of research to try and figure this out. I even was able to run a kind of a test run between my brand new wallet and my son Caleb's wallet, because I got those 10 pieces of Next Earth virtual land I got out that I sent to my son's wallet were in his wallet. So I was able to kind of do a test run where I made offers from my new wallet on those pieces of land within his wallet. And just so that I could look at it from his point of view and see, how quickly could he go in there, see the offers I made on multiple pieces and basically accept those offers. Like, because I was looking at, okay, when I make offers from my new wallet to my hacked wallet, Soon as I access that hacked wallet, he has the possibility of knowing that I'm in there, seeing that I've put Matic in there to start transferring my stuff out. I wanted to know how quick could I go in there and approve those offers of 35 pieces of land. That's a considerable amount of time. It ended up taking me, I think, damn near 15 minutes, give or take, to get all 35 pieces back. He never did come back into the wallet. So I was able to get those 35 pieces of land transferred out. It basically cost me less than 5 Matic. I mean, a few dollars to get it back. And that was a win for me to get my dirt back my junk Polygon NFTs back. That's a prime example of a project that you and I believe in, that for him, the resale was not even worth his time.
Right.
But to me, I put a substantial amount of time and some money into buying those, and they are very unique. Some of the NFTs I bought, NFTs are 1 for 1, so I can't replace that exact NFT, but I could buy similar ones if I wanted. These, you could buy similar ones, but not so much. On Next Earth, I bought pieces of property that, like you've spoken about, that are personal to me.
Right.
That, so that was a big win to get those back in my portfolio, and allowed me to kind of step back a little bit and reanalyze. Now, I still have a few NFTs for another project that are staked, and they're staked from my hacked wallet, but they are staked for 2 years. And I staked them 60 or 90 days ago, something like that. And yeah, so I talked to those guys, and basically they said, you should be fine. We're going to have to watch them. And when that staking period ends, you need to be aware of when that is. And then right at that moment, you need to transfer them out of your wallet again.
Right. Because I doubt that this guy will be waiting for your staking period to get over. No. He'll probably move on. But if he realizes it, then he could still get to it. But yeah, if it's staked to that wallet, you can't do anything about it. But it's the same as if you would have stolen his key phrase. Whoever has the key phrase controls the wallet, even if that's 2 people. So as long as you have your key phrase, you have the exact date that staking period is up. And right when you're allowed to unstake, you get in, drop some ETH, get it out of there. He's probably not watching it that close in a year and a half. So you've got a chance to at least get those back.
Yeah, ultimately that's what happens is whoever had the wallet last, which if he went in, as long as he didn't go in after me the other week when I got my Next Earth virtual land back, then it'll be my same password, and I'll know if he's been in there when I go to log in that wallet and use the last password I set up. If it accepts it, I know I'm the last one. If it doesn't, I know he did. And so if it doesn't accept my password, I have to re-enter my seed phrase, change the password, then go in and make my transaction. So, and like we talked about, the digital wallets, the blockchain, these protocols are so ultra secure as long as you don't give away your seed phrase, which I did. There's no explanation for that idiotic move, regardless of how I felt. That said, these things are so ultra secure that when you do give that seed phrase away, to try and undo or salvage or stop or fix what you've done is a nightmare, because it is so secure that there's really nothing anybody can do to help you. And that's why my NFTs that he stole, I could see sitting in a wallet he transferred to. Everybody can see them. They're there for anybody to see, and there is nothing you can do because it's so secure. Maybe in the future they'll have, options and stuff where if he goes to sell it again, it, automatically comes back to me or something. There's probably some things that can be done. But as far as smart contracts, whatever that contract is written, That's what happens. That's why this technology is so evolutionary, is it removes the opportunities for a lot of the theft and hacking and stuff like that, because it removes the third party. It does whatever that contract is written to do, and it doesn't matter if that contract was written improperly or not. It's executing those actions, and it's a done deal. And that's ultimately what secured everything once it was stolen from me. It's what kept me protected until I gave away my seed phrase, and then it's what kept me from getting my stuff back because of the technology. So I did open up a new wallet, obviously. I have some of my stuff there. I did not lose everything. Most of my cryptocurrency is held in my Coinbase account. So
wait, do you have, just so we know that you've got it safely held there, do you have your 12 seed phrase written down? Just hold it up to the camera for us real quick.
Of course. Yeah. So I didn't lose all my currency. Matter of fact, I lost minimal currency. It was mostly NFTs and like my NXTT tokens that I lost. Thank goodness for that. So that's my story, Ben. As sad as it is, hopefully, if it helps one person realize, and I guess that's my point, is I had been told almost every day when I would spend time in here, if you're in Discord, they tell you constantly hear it, do whatever you want, except for give your seed phrase away, and don't direct message. Be very, stay away from that. That's how they get you, is through direct message. And I made both of those mistakes. So my only hope with this video and making this, other than giving people a good laugh, is to know that you can know those things through and through and still get talked into giving out your stuff, which again, I still don't know. Looking back, I don't know how I was that dumb, but clearly I was. So it is possible. And according to this guy, I'm not the first and I'm not going to be the last. And there's many of them.
Well, we've gotten conditioned to being protected by, especially in America, the FDIC and all the rules, the credit rules, the visa rule. If somebody were to get your credit card and goes, if you were to hand somebody your credit card and they go to a store and buy something with it, you can go to Bank of America and say, I didn't pay for that. That was somebody else. And they give you all that money back. And it's, FDIC insured, and they cancel that card and they protect your account and they move you over and they take care of you. We don't have that protection yet in Web3. The weakness lies in the user. And unfortunately, right now, they call it the Wild West, and it is the Wild West because people are just wandering in and they don't really know how things are going. But there are people who've been here for 5 to 7 years that are up on all, while you're sitting in there trying to learn, they know exactly what they need to know to get stuff out of your wallet. So there are a few rules. One of them is do not give away your 12 seed phrase. If you're putting it into a MetaMask wallet, if your 12-word seed phrase is for a MetaMask wallet, don't put it in anywhere else. Don't connect it anywhere else. That's a MetaMask phrase, and don't do it unless you're putting it straight into your wallet. Don't give it out. Don't enter it anywhere else. Don't write it down. Don't post it.
Don't lose it, because you'll never get into your wallet again.
Right. That's it. That's the key. That's the unbreakable key. This is not again, this isn't something stored at a Bank of America safe box where you come in with your ID and 2 copies of identification and a passport, and they go, okay, and they cut you a new key and get you in. That's it. You have $1 million in there and you forget that seed phrase, it's over. It belongs to the network.
Well, you've on this show, you've spoke about before individuals that had thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin in a wallet somewhere, something, it got thrown in the trash or what?
Yeah. Just several different stories like that where people were mining Dogecoin, or people had mined Bitcoin and put it onto a thumb drive. And if you take it off of an online wallet into a cold wallet, then you have to hang on to that. Then it's just like cash. You lose that cash, it's gone. If you have it stored on an online wallet, you can retrieve it with your seed phrase, which is basically just a very complex password. But you forget it, you lose that seed phrase, you don't have access to, and a lot of people will set up a MetaMask. I'm sure a lot of the people we know are guilty of this. They'll set up a MetaMask, get some money transferred over there, and they have one phone, and they wrote the seed phrase down somewhere, and there's only $100 worth of Ethereum in there. It's not a big deal. Then they buy a little bit more, then they buy a little bit more, then they get an NFT, then they're staking, then they're doing this, and then they're doing that. And before you know it, we're in a bull market, and their NXTT goes up by 10x, and now they've got real money in there, and they're getting excited, and they're telling everybody how cool this is. And then they drop their phone in the water, and the phone freaks out. No big deal. It's safe. You just bring up another phone, bring up your MetaMask, but then they can't remember where they wrote down that 10, you know what I mean? And then they're like, well, it's around here somewhere. And they're like, mother, it started with $100, so I didn't worry too much about it. But you have to think long term. When you start something that you're going to be building and putting stuff into and dollar cost averaging into, it's not the $100 that you're starting it off with. It's what you're gonna end up with, or it's what you're gonna have. It's like buying a new house. It's like, well, you don't really need to change the locks when you're just walking into the house and there's nothing in there. Yeah, some other people might have the keys. Yeah, somebody might be able to get in. That's not why you want to protect it. You want to protect it because you're getting ready to fill that house with a lot of stuff that you love. So it's time to secure it when it's brand new before you get that stuff in. You don't want to bring in a brand new TV without changing the locks, and then somebody else goes, all right, and comes right back out. Or you close the door and forgot, oh, I don't have the key for that. Now you can't get into your house. And so it's very important at the beginning to make a very clear, don't save it on your computer. Hard save it outside of your computer, not online, not posted and sticky tape to your wall, somewhere safe. I don't know how you're going to do it. I'm not going to tell anybody how I do it, but do it in a way where you can't lose it, you can't forget it. And if you need to, you can retrieve. Somebody else sees it, they don't go, oh, guess I'm going to go dip into Good Ryan's MetaMask and get all his crap NFTs.
Yeah. I made multiple copies. I have it in multiple locations.
What's one of your locations? Like, what's your least secure location?
Well, it happens to be, right?
I'm just testing you, Ryan, because I feel like
I need those. I clearly need them. So I can't say it any better than what you just said. I mean, that's what it is. And you really do accumulate stuff, just like you said, quicker. And it's like they say, you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Right. Then you realize, oh, well, I did buy some of this, and I guess I did buy some of that, and I guess I did stake this, and then the market turned around, and my million NXTT is now worth $50,000. You know what I mean? And it's like, all of a sudden, there's a lot more money in there than you thought. Where did I put that damn seed phrase? You know what I mean? And before you drop your phone or break your phone or have to reset your phone or your battery won't turn on. I mean, like, there's just so many things that can go wrong, and people don't realize it when they're getting started because, I've probably started a handful of wallets. I don't remember if it was Axie. We started a new wallet so we could stake some shards. I don't remember, but it's just like, okay, new wallet, bam, bam, bam. Here's your seed phrase, print it, stick it down. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, but you don't realize it. Well, if that turns around, or if you're staking stuff in there and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I just heard on the news today that a single Axie is worth $14,000 each. It's like, I know I had some Axies somewhere. You know what I mean? And then where did I put that seed phrase? Nobody ever loses like their wallet or whatever their seed phrase, if there's $100 million in Bitcoin, they make sure they put that coin right where they need it. But back when Bitcoin was worth 0.0000 whatever, and the people who had it had 25,000 Bitcoins and it didn't really mean anything, nobody really pays attention to it. But when the time comes where that is worth something, if you have an NXTT project, even if you forget about it, you just, I had one MetaMask wallet with some NXTT, but then 8 years from now, you hear the news that NXTT can't believe that they won the metaverse wars, and everybody is connected through NXTT to the metaverse, and you're like, damn, didn't I buy some of that back in 2022? I wonder where that, you know what I mean? Like, now is the time to secure that stuff, to lock it away, to make sure that you're good. I mean, it's so secure if you do it right, and it's so dangerous if you lose it. That makes now I'm uncomfortable. Now I need to go back and check all my wallets and make sure all my, you know what I mean? Just talking about it and hearing your story.
Yeah, that's when I called you the next day, the first Saturday about it, and you said the same thing. And I could feel you coming through the phone, just how uncomfortable. And we've all been there where you feel for somebody so bad, you want to help, and there's nothing you can do, but at the same time, you're like, oh, what about my stuff?
This was the look on my face all day. like, oh damn, what can you do? I can't do anything for you. Then you start putting yourself in that situation. And like you said, a lot of the stuff we have, I mean, $1,000 worth of NXTT is worth $1,000 right now, but we're buying it for 2030. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can get back in for a little over 1,000 now. But that kind of stuff, that's just, you know what I mean? The thing is, if you kind of let this slide and you forget about this, and maybe in a couple of years you're still using that MetaMask wallet or it's still available, the guy who has it still has the key to your wallet. You know what I mean? Like if you obviously have to get a new MetaMask and all that stuff, but you said you've got some staked in there. So if you forget about it and he remembers in 2 years and he's like, oh, what was he staking? Oh, he was staking ADA coin. He was staking Cardano. Oh, and Cardano went up to $100 a coin. Oh, dang. He's got several $100,000 in here, and he has forgotten about it. Or you see it in there, and you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I need to move that over. Well, he's still got your password. He's still got the ability to move it to where he wants to. So, that's so important to make sure. I mean, they're free wallets, so create a new wallet. If you don't have your seed phrase right now, create a new wallet, pay the however much money and gas fees it takes to move everything over, write that stuff down, put it somewhere safe, make sure that you are the only one that has access to your wallet.
And then use a different wallet to buy with.
Yeah.
Have one wallet that holds, or wallets that hold projects. You don't use those same wallets to access anything. The hard part there is with staking, you have to use that wallet because it has to identify that you actually have the token or NFT or whatever.
Right.
But other than that, you don't buy other stuff with that same
bridging and moving and doing stuff like that. The layer 2s where you have to kind of go off network and then come back, any place where you could get, it's like moving your car, or back in the old West, moving the money with the stage coaches. It's not a big deal when you're moving it right down there where everything's secure. It's when you're going across the Badlands. It's like, okay, well, now's the time to lock it down, you know what I mean, and book it across there. So you have to be
smart.
You have to be smart. You have to be safe. And there's a certain time where things are riskier. It can sit in the safe, but you don't want to use the safe as your cash register. If somebody comes in and you're just paying them 0.000 ETH, you don't open up your whole safe, pull out that little bit, and you know what I mean, and say, oh, I just need you to send it through this way. It's like, oh yeah, no big deal. You don't want to ever give access to your fat wallet.
They are out there. I think that's a good place to stop. Any final thoughts other than that?
Other than, no, that's it. That's it. Safety is number one. There's no point in getting into these projects 10 years early and going for the big fat score in 2030 if you've lost your wallet or given somebody else access to your wallet. Make sure you're building it safely.
Could not agree more. So with that, we are going to end the broadcast. Thanks for tuning in live to the Meta Mentors episode number 22. Mfer stole Ryan's NFT.
Ryan picked that title.
By the way, if you're not involved in these programs, Mfer, that's actually what these guys are called. That's what that NFT project is called, is Mfers.
There you go. 10,000 run. They make up the network.
All right. See you next episode, Ben.